Hi everyone, welcome back. Well, today I'm over at the neighbour's place and I just thought I would show you this rather unusual tractor. In the 1950s and 60s, there weren't many big tractors available. The biggest Chamberlain made was around 100 horsepower. There were some Steigers and things like that, but there weren't many of them in Western Australia. So it was quite common for people to join two tractors together. Now this one is two Chamberlain C670s. The front one did end up with a C100 motor in it to give it a bit more power. Now this one is actually not a homemade tractor. This one was the hitch was made by Pedric engineering in Wagen. They were a big engineering company that made all sorts of agricultural machinery. They started out being very well known just after World War I for charcoal gas producers, and they moved into all sorts of agricultural stuff. The thing that seems to turn up everywhere is their pinwheel rakes for raking up mallee roots and rocks and things like that. But yeah, they did the joint on this. So this is a fully articulated hydraulic steering tractor. There's a big piece here that goes on the front of the rear Chamberlain that swivels in here, but there's also another shaft down here that swivels to allow your front tractor to move this way as it goes over uneven ground. I believe this one was used by Main Roads Department. I'm not sure what they were doing with it, but it had a 44-gallon drum fuel tank here, and it had originally another 44-gallon drum fuel tank up the front. So they were obviously doing some pretty long distance work with it. Originally this one didn't have PTO or 3-point linkage. That has been added on later, so it does now have the PTO and 3-point linkage. They're just a bolt-on attachment, so they're pretty easy to fit on and take off again. Now this was a monster machine to drive. So if we climb up into the cab here, bench seat's been removed and it's got a single seat here. The steering wheel's been modified and it's got a hydraulic steering pump just down in here. It still has your clutch pedal here. This had a hydraulic link up to the front tractor, so when you push this it operates both clutches. It used to be incredibly heavy, so when I was a teenager I would have to jump on that really hard and pull up on the steering wheel at the same time before I could change gears. It's got lights up here which were the alternator ignition and oil pressure light for the front tractor. There's a key switch here for the rear tractor and a key switch here for the front tractor. Throttle for the back tractor, throttle for the front tractor. The brakes only operate on the rear tractor, which meant it was always very hard to pull up. Through this hole here there was a windmill rod that went right up to the front tractor to change the gears on the main gearbox. Now if you wanted to change ranges on the front one you had to get out to change them, but you could select first, second or third. Reverse had been locked out, so you couldn't get the front one in reverse and the rear one in a forward gear. I guess that was just a safety thing with it. One of the other things about these tractors is it's so far between the wheels on it that if your front one was getting bogged, often your rear one was still on hard ground, and by the time your rear one had got into trouble, often your front one was back on hard ground and pulling you out again. So this really was a mighty machine. The fact that it didn't have front wheels on it meant you gained about 11% in power normally you lose a bit of power through pushing your front wheels along the ground. Because this doesn't have it, this was up around, it was apparently not far under 200 horsepower, and it would pull a 29-ton scarifier almost buried to the frame without any trouble at all. So yeah, I just thought I would do a quick walk around on this. It's in a bit of a sad state now, unfortunately, but in its day this was an absolute mammoth tractor and there wasn't too much that would stop it. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this little video. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again next time. Bye.